Whose birthday are we celebrating today? What is the name of the event we're going to talk about? I don't know. Third base. You're watching History Hounds. This day in history, March 6th. The year is 1323, and the Treaty of Paris in that year was signed to effect to end the Zealand conflict, giving Count William I of Holland claim over the Dutch county of Zealand. This, of course, is not to be mistaken for the Treaty of Paris in 1229, 1259, 1303, 1320, 1355, 1515, which was really more of a wedding planning session, 1623, 1626, 1657, 1718, 1761, 1763, 1783, that was a good one, 1784, 1796, 1802, 1806, 1810, the other one in 1810, 1812, 1814, 1815, also known as the Second Treaty of Paris, 1817, 1856, 1857, 1898, 1900, 1918, 1920, 1947, 1951, or Chicago punk band, the Treaty of Paris. The year is 1820, and James Monroe has just signed the Missouri Compromise into effect, making Missouri the final northern state, a state above the Mason-Dixon line, to ratify slavery into its constitution. Pre-Civil War tensions were already starting to boil, even 40 years prior to Fort Sumter. The next few decades, involved a tug-of-war between free states and slave states every time a new state was admitted into the Union. There was always an accompanying debate as to if the new state would be a free or slave state. Sometimes these debates would be very bloody, like Bleeding Kansas, which literally had blood in its name. A little bit after the Missouri Compromise came into effect, the Supreme Court heard Dred Scott versus Sanford. Dred Scott was a slave who lived in Missouri, a slave state, followed by Illinois when his master traveled there. Because Illinois was a free state, Scott wanted his freedom from his master. When they went back to Missouri and sued for his freedom. The case made it all the way to the Supreme Court, and in the end, the court did the unthinkable. In a shocking 7-2 decision, they ruled that, free or slave, African Americans were not citizens, and as such did not have the right to sue in the first place. Yeah. That happened. Remember the Alamo video we did a few months ago? Today marks the day the Alamo fell to Santa Anna's troops. Learn more about clicking this right up here.
This is your birthday song, it isn't very long.
Today's birthdays are the Michelangelo virus, the iconic painter Michelangelo himself, Civil War hero Philip Sheridan, and legendary comedian Lou Costello. Also, a slightly early birthday for my pops, one of our first subscribers and the guy who, with my grandma, sang that lovely birthday song to lead into this segment. He sung that song to hundreds of people, thousands of times, including strangers in restaurants. However, I think this is the first time he's ever sung it to a computer virus, a Renaissance painter, a Union general, or even himself. Last week I asked you to send me your favorite pictures of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and I posted my favorite here today. And here it is. Look at that good boy holding up the tower. Who's a good doggy? Easy win sending a picture of a dog to a channel with the Hound in its name. Good job, Dad. For this next task in honor of Michelangelo's birthday, I'd like to see your most creative attempt at recreating a scene from the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. It could be a drawing, or reenactment, or even a mosaic made with fruit. Whatever strikes your creative mind. I'll be judging on, does this remind me of the Sistine Chapel? And, is it creative? You have until midnight on Wednesday the 10th to submit your rendition. Keep it PG. Your time starts now. So, what have we learned today? We learned that if you want a treaty, go to Paris. We learned that the Supreme Court doesn't always make the best decisions. Also, we learned there was a real line in the sand with slavery in the U.S. I'll leave you with a quote from one of our birthdays, Michelangelo. The man, not the computer virus. A man paints with his brains and not with his hands. You've been watching History Hound. I'll see you in history.